Hey guys, I'm Annabelle and today I'm going to talk about Cantos 29 through 30 from Dante's Inferno. Canto 29 opens up with Dante and Virgil heading to the 10th Bolgia of 8th Circle of Hell. Virgil tries to hurry through it, but Dante wishes to stay longer so he can meet his relatives. Virgil tells him that he saw Dante's relative under the bridge and how he shook his finger violently to threaten Dante as he passed by. Dante assumed it's because his relative Gary del Bello didn't get revenge for his murder. Dante was a deeply Christian person, and in Canto 29, line 32, Dante says, "His violent death, for which as yet no vengeance has been done, he makes my pity for him greater yet," which shows Dante's conflicts as a Christian. On this, John D. Sinclair, one of the translators of Inferno, comments a struggle between the religious duty of forgiveness and an obscure sense of shame for his lack of will and power to satisfy an obligation from which, according to the common thought and conscience, he could not withdraw. It is interesting how it shows how he felt the need to revenge his relatives' deaths like their common beliefs at the time, which was eye for an eye, but he also wanted to follow the words of Jesus, which was to forgive others. When Virgil and Dante cross the bridge, Dante has to cover his ears from horrifying weeps and cries of the souls. He also describes the smell of the place as the smell of human flesh rotting. In the pit of 8th Circle of Hell, which is called Malebolge, are the ones who committed a sin of fraud. In Cantos 29 and 30 specifically deals with those who lied, who are also known as falsifiers, in 10th Bolgia of Malebolge. They are divided into 4 different types: alchemists, evil impersonators, counterfeiters, and false witnesses depending on what kind of falsifying sins they've committed. The authors of literature in its times, Joyce Moss and George Wilson quotes, "The power-hungry and unpleasant Boniface and the equality-powerful French monarchy both earned Dante's hatred." As we can tell from this quote, Dante hated the Pope and the Emperor at the time, who he thought were very corrupted. Dante glorifies the economics and the political stability, so as he wrote the Inferno, he put those who are a threat to the stability in the worst circles of hell, which explains why falsifiers were placed above the traitors but below to those who committed violence. Falsifiers were punished by having diseases-like symptoms because Dante thought of them like a disease to the stability of society. When Dante arrives in the pit, he gets to meet the alchemists whose sin is committing alchemy, and they're punished by being covered in scabs, constantly having to scratch themselves due to the extreme itchiness, and some can't even stand up, so they are all lying on the ground. Dante speaks with 2 Italian souls, a soul from Erzo and the other one is named Capocchio, who is an old friend of Dante's. The soul from Erzo tells Dante that he was burned for lying. He lied that he could fly to Albera of Sirena, but he is in the 8th circle for alchemy. Capocchio was also burned for the sin of alchemy. In the beginning of Canto 30, Dante meets evil impersonators. They are the ones who committed sin of falsifying by impersonating others, and they are punished by being driven mad. They are cursed to chase and seize other souls forever. Canto 30 begins with 2 spirits appearing out of nowhere, and one of them attacks Capocchio. The soul from Erzo explains that the one just attacked Capocchio is Gianni Schicchi, who acted like a dead man to benefit from the will, and the other one is Mira, who acted like someone else to seduce her own father. Then Dante meets the 3rd class of falsifiers, counterfeiters, whom committed the sin of fraud with money. They are cursed with their bodies being deformed into lutes and having symptoms of edema, which is a disease that causes your body to swell. The counterfeiter Dante encounters is Master Adam. He committed the sin of making coins out of gold mixed with other metals to gain profit, and he was burned for it. He suffers extreme thirst but can't move, and his stomach is filled with water. Lastly, Dante meets the 4th class of falsifiers, who are false witnesses. They are the ones who committed the sin of falsifying the truth of what they've seen. They are punished by not being able to move. The ones Dante encounters are Sinon, who deceived the people of Troy to let the Trojan horse into the castle, and Potiphar, who lied about how Joseph tried to seduce her. So, to give you guys a brief summary of Cantos 29 to 30, Virgil and Dante enters 10th Bolgia of the 8th circle of hell called Malebolge and meets Garudalbeo, and Dante realizes that he had revenge for his death. Then they encounter a soul from Arezzo and Capocchio, who are the first type of falsifiers, alchemists. Their sin is alchemy and their punishment is symptoms of leprosy. Then they meet Gianni, Schicchi, and Mira, who are evil impersonators. They committed the sin of impersonating with evil intentions, and their punishment is having to chase and seize other souls forever. Then they meet Master Adam, who is one of the counterfeiters. Their sin is fraud with money, and they are punished by symptoms of edema. Lastly, they run into Sinon and Potiphar, who are false witnesses. Their sin is false witness, and their punishment is not being able to move. And Canto 30 closes with Dante listening to the fight between Master Adam and Sinon arguing whose sin is worse. Okay guys, that is it for now, and thank you for listening.